Good afternoon. Today is the 7th of June. This is a Friday, 2024. And we've left this morning at just a little before 7 o'clock. And we pulled the trailer to a place called Indian Creek State Park. And nearby is the town of Hannibal. Hannibal is famous because that's where the author, Mark Twain, lived and wrote lots of his stories about the Mississippi and everyday life. So we are at his birthplace. There's supposed to be a cabin here where he was born. I have not found it, and we've decided to take this little trail because Georgie still has car anxiety, and she needed a little break, and so we got here. We got here about 2:30. We got lost in the damn park. This is a huge place. There's 3 or 4 state parks on this lake. It's a beautiful lake, and it's huge. So anyway, we're going to continue this walk. And because it's just a short walk. We'll continue this walk, and then we're going to try and find that cabin. Anyway, he was born in 1857, I think. I'm not sure. We'll check back later. So earlier I mistakenly called Leah by Georgie. It's a tough name to forget. Anyway, this is Chigger Haven. And you do not want to be walking in the woods because, getting off the trail. Chiggers are related to a real tiny spider. They're so tiny that they can get under your skin just by the sweat gland. And then they'll lay an egg, and then you start having these little eggs eating you from the inside. And you start itching. Oh my God. You get red welts all over you. You also have to worry about ticks. But ticks are much easier to see. So anyway, this is a really big ass lake. And how you doing, Leah? She's eating some grass. So just below me on the lake is a boat. People having a good time. Maybe you hear a bunch of girls and boys. Anyway, we'll continue our walk. So this lake is made by damming up the Salt River. We have a salt creek that runs through Lincoln, dumps into the Platte River. So I'm thinking that this cabin probably was very close to the Salt River because it wasn't dammed up then. Hopefully we can find it. They have like a museum here, but it's closed already because it's after 4 o'clock. So Mark Twain, his name was Samuel Langhorne Clemens, was born in a nearby village of Florida, November 30th, 1835. His birthplace was given to the Mark Twain Memorial Park Association by M.A. Violet in 1924 and is maintained as a museum. The 2-room clapboard house was rented by Twain's parents, John M. and Jane Lambton Clemens, upon their arrival here from Tennessee in 1835. So I had his date wrong. Before it was moved to the park in 1930, it has been moved once before and has been used as a printing office, grain storage shed, and a cow shelter. Mark Twain spent many summers on his Uncle John Quarles' farm near Florida, and this is Florida, Missouri, after his parents moved in 1839 to Hannibal, Missouri. It was from his boyhood in Hannibal and here that he drew material for Tom Sawyer and Huckleberry Finn, two books that made him very, very famous. In 1853, Twain left a job on his brother's Orion's Hannibal newspaper to become a printer, a Mississippi River pilot, and a miner, writer, and lecturer in the West, where he adopted the pen name Mark Twain, which means 2 fathoms, a river measure. 1870, he married Olivia Langdon. He died April 21, 1910, and is buried in Elmira, New York. Now, this is the building right over here where the little cabin is inside. Excuse me. And we got here too late, so it's closed. I don't think we could take the dog in there anyway. So, we're now going to go back to the campsite and grill some steaks. Town of Florida. I'm at it. So, there's not much here. Just removed a tick from me. So here is some pictures of a younger and his house and the memorial, of course, that's right in front of us. And then that's a house you see is partly on the front. There's a log cabin. Then they clapboarded over it. So there's other historical things here. I'm going to try and read them from the truck. There was 2 really old log cabins. Let me see if I can pick them up from here. Yeah, I can. So back there, behind those 2 cars that are parked over there, you can see behind them is a log cabin. And then we have this old cannon. I suppose I better go read about it and then see what else is here. I mean, this is it. There may be 75 people here. It says, due to its relative distance and inaccessibility from the Union-controlled railroads, Florida was the site for 2 skirmishes during the Civil War. 1861, Illinois Volunteers drove the pro-South Missouri 2nd Militia, which includes Samuel Clemens, out of Florida. And in 1862, July 22nd, 300 cavalry of the Confederate Missouri 2nd Cavalry battled 50 mounted soldiers of the Union Iowa 3rd Cavalry in the center of Florida. Soldiers fought in the center of the village, including the log cabin seen ahead. Okay, so here's a gun, and then I don't know if they mean that log cabin there or the one that's behind those 2 cars there. You can see it better now. That is an old grist mill established in 1838, and it was south of the fork of the Salt River. So there was a grist mill down that road somewhere. Now, good morning. It's 11 o'clock, and we've come to a place called Mark Twain's cave. And this is a tourist attraction, and you have to pay money to go into the cave. The cave was discovered in 1911 by a farmer whose dog was chasing a rabbit, and it ran into this cave. So it was privately owned, and it became famous because Mark Twain mentioned the cave in his book, The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn. So while I was trying to get this movie videoed, a bunch of bikers rode up. They're all old people like me, and they went in, and I guess they're going to pay to go into the cave. I'm not going to. So this is kind of a bust. You see, though, I have a new truck. It's a 2020 Ford. I was hoping that by getting this truck I'd get much better gas mileage, because my good friend Mike Milling, he has a Ford with the same engine and setup, and he gets really good gas mileage. So I haven't gotten real good gas mileage. That's the same as my big Dodge Ram. Anyway, we're going to get back into the truck and go into Hannibal. There's lots of attractions there, and it's quite a famous town. Although it kind of looks like maybe there's not enough money. Okay, so there's the new dog, Leah. Are you ready to go? Okay, sure, I'm done. So I forgot to mention that Hannibal is right on the Mississippi River. And what I meant when I said the place doesn't have enough money, here we have Sawyer's Creek. 1989, it was opened, and you see new ownership hoping maybe in 2024, and it's not open. So we're heading into Hannibal in that direction. So let me read this to you. This is incredible. So on May 10th, 1967, 3 adventurous boys explored these hills in the footprints of Huckleberry Finn and Tom Sawyer, only to never be seen again. Craig Dowell, Joey Hogg, and Billy Hogg will be remembered by rescue teams who came from coast to coast to solve the disappearance. These boys are dearly missed and loved by their families, but will never be forgotten by all. This historical monument also reflects the love of the community and a nation who helped in the search. So we are at what's called Lover's Leap. And here's another sign. The Legend of Lover's Leap. Now I'll let you look at this town of Hannibal. And then I'm read this. So while the story varies according to the teller of the story, the main elements are that an Indian brave and an Indian princess from warring tribes were prevented from marrying by their parents and tribes. One evening when the Indian brave landed his canoe in Bear Creek, he was observed meeting and walking with the Indian princess. A treacherous observer revealed this to the father of the Indian princess, who was the chief of the tribe. The angered father offered an otter skin to anyone who would kill the brave. A number of the younger warriors started after the brave. When the couple realized they were being chased, they climbed Lover's Leap, hoping to elude their pursuers. Cornered on the rock prominence, the brave also realized this and decided that life would not be worth living if he were killed. The two embraced and threw themselves off the top and is thus a memorial to these two young Indians who sacrificed their lives rather than be apart. That's according to the legend. So let's go up here.
Pretty view.
And there is the rock ledge they jumped off of. Let's walk out over there. And this is a stunning view. So what's amazing is these barges are anchored in the Mississippi. Yeah, if you fell off this thing, death is going to await you. So this is I think this is worldwide a symbol of your love, and you put a lock on a special place. So it's crazy. And look at over there. So there's this is just a little park full of locks. So
yeah, but it's a nice view from here.
It's a wonderful view. So there's a special railroad bridge over there. And it's not this first one that you see, but there's one behind it. And it's got a special mechanism for raising the bridge. Very unique. So in the town of Hannibal, there's a castle. There's some statues, and there's a lighthouse. There, you can see the lighthouse way over there. We're going to go look at that and film it and go see the castle. And then there's a house that Molly Brown was born in. And then there is Thatcher, Mary Thatcher house. She was born. I don't know much about Mary Thatcher, but Molly Brown managed to escape the sinking of the Titanic. She was rescued, and she became famous because she saved so many lives. So there was a movie made about her. Oh, Thatcher was a girlfriend of Samuel Clemens, alias Mark Twain, but they never got married. He loved her very much. She lived across the street from him when he was a kid. All right, so we're going to get back in the truck and start looking at things. Well, I went to see the riverboat, Mark Twain riverboat, and I thought this mess was what I was looking for. And you see that Mark Twain is coming down the Mississippi. They're running late because they're supposed to have an 11 o'clock tour. And you see, there it is right there. So it's another tourist attraction. You get on the riverboat and you can have a meal and drinks, and then the tour's over, and it's boring as hell. I did one on the Missouri with my friend and his wife. So there you can see the second bridge, and we're going to go over there and look at it because it's got a unique system of raising it. Okay, so I have no idea, but these two look like tugs. And if I wait long enough, the riverboat will probably, there's the landing down there. So there's some more tourists. They're probably going to walk down there and get on it. But not me. So now let's go look at whatever. Maybe we'll do the lighthouse. Lover's Leap was awesome. Can't see it from here, but if you look closely, you will see the flagpole way up on top of that hill. That's Lover's Leap. You see, that's an imitation paddle wheel. It's, you know, it's basically, it's probably powered by a diesel engine. So it's all fake architecture. And look, it doesn't look bright and shiny. So this is kind of a neat little square, or part of his street. Here's Becky Thatcher's house. That's the girl that Samuel Clemens, as a boy, had a crush on. And then, and you see this is a typical street in the Midwest, red brick. And there's several houses here that are famous. And so it says, this is the home of Becky Thatcher's, Tom Sawyer's first sweetheart. And the book in Tom Sawyer's, Tom thought Becky to be the essence of all that is charming in a womanhood. And they never managed to hook up. And I think that's why he didn't marry until he's about 35. And then the next building here, I'm trying to walk carefully, is J.M. Clemens, Justice of the Peace. And this was Mark Twain's father's law office. So young Sam Clemens, Mark Twain, saw a dead man on the floor in here one night. Went out at a window taking the sash along with him. I didn't need the sash, he recalled, but it was handier to take it than it was to leave it. So I took it. I wasn't exactly scared, but I was considerably agitated. And then that building next to it is Grant's drugstore. So let me see. So Tom Sawyer's fence. Here stood the board fence which Tom Sawyer persuaded his gang to pay him for the privilege of whitewashing. Tom sat by and saw that it was well done. Alright, so let's go get a look at Tom Sawyer's house. Mark Twain, Remembrance of an American Past. And so here is a boy. There's a picture of him. In this house, Sam Clemens led a pretty typical life for a small-town American boy in the 1850s. Yet his life here helped to shape him to Mark Twain, one of the greatest writers in the world. As a writer in the 1870s, Twain returned to this home in his memory. He used his imagination to turn the people, places, and events in his childhood into stories that captured the soul of the American people. Okay, so you have this big wall, stone wall. So there's more people. So you have to go inside there and go through the house. And this is nice. This is nice. Looks nice.
We're going to cut through this way because we're doing the three houses across the street. Okay.
So Mark Twain, excuse me, Mark Twain had all these little great sayings, and he wrote about them. You know, he put them in the newspaper. Like this one here says, "Get a bicycle. You will not regret it if you live." I remember another one he put in the newspaper. It said something like this: "Whoever is the owner of the black and white tomcat that is yowling on my fence, you will find it in the backyard, still beautiful in death." So anyway, here is the statue of Tom Sawyer and Huckleberry Finn. And these guys got on a boat and went down the Mississippi River and stayed on an island and had some adventure. So we're going to go and check out the lighthouse, and I think Molly Brown's birth home is on this street also. And I think we're going to come back to this. It's called Sidekick Barbecue Sweets. No, that's not. So here's another one that says, "Like it? Well, I don't see why I oughtn't to like it. Does a boy get a chance to whitewash a fence every day?" Tom Sawyer. This town, there's these signs on the street posts where sayings of Mark Twain.